Hello guys and welcome back. So in the last section we created our very first attribute directive. Now in this section we'll create our first structural directive, a custom one. Okay, so let's create a directive file for it first. I'm going to call it ng generate t for directive, and in the directives folder I'm going to create unless. That is the name of the directive, and this will do what this will do the opposite of ng if. So basically, if the value is false, then it will show the content on the screen, and it will not otherwise. Okay, so I created a directive here, and now let's start to work on it. The directive was not added. Okay, now it's added. So let's open up the directive file. Okay, and let's first see why exactly do we have an asterisk sign over over structural directives in Angular. Okay, so if I open up the components directive host and I open up the template here. Okay, let's say if I have a variable here of type boolean, I'll name it show unless. It's a boolean variable and its value would be set in ng on init. Show on this dot show unless equal to true. Okay, now in the directive host components template, I'll create a horizontal rule, and now let's say I had a division wherein we have an ng if. Okay, and to this I've specified the show unless in ng if. Okay, and this will show. Okay, let's save this and go back. Now we can see the directive this will show. Okay, in the ng if. If we set this value to false instead, then it's going to get hidden from the DOM like so. Okay, but what exactly is Angular doing here is it's somehow changing this syntax right here. Okay, it's adding some custom syntax, and that custom syntax is something like this. So it adds an ng template tag inside which it adds the content that we want to show, but now this time with a property binding like so. Okay, so this that we write is essentially equivalent to this that Angular converts this into. Okay, so if I save this, you'll see two divisions here, or you'll not see both of them because the value is set to false right now. But if I set it to true, then you'll see both the divisions here, or maybe not. There is an issue. Maybe let's see what the issue is. Show unless and okay, so this in this case won't be on the div. It would be on the ng template. My bad. Okay, so now both of these divisions should show. Right. So this is how Angular transforms an asterisk sign that it has on structural directives into something like this. Okay. Now keeping that in mind, let's start with the directive that we have in place. So we are having the unless directive. Okay. Now what this unless directive will do is it will hide a particular element from the DOM if the value is set to true, and it will show that element otherwise. Okay. So first of all, to get the value, let's create an input property, and the name of this input property, and this would again be a property of type set. Okay. We'll name this app unless. Okay, and this should be the same as the name of this selector right here, and we'll see why that is really important. Okay, so now this will have a condition in the form of a boolean. Okay, and based on the condition, let's first import input as well from Angular core. Okay, now with this condition, we'll have to set something, and then we can do that using renderer that we have already seen. So this time we won't be using renderer. This time we would be using two other things. Okay, so this is the template that Angular creates. Okay. And there's a container in which Angular pushes this thing right here, okay, so that we are able to see it on the screen. So these two things are the template ref, which is of type template ref. That is something that I'll be importing from Angular core. Okay, and this is a generic type if you hover over it. Okay, so let's specify the type as any right now, and then I'll also add up one more dependency in the constructor, and the name of this dependency is going to be view container ref, which would be of type view container ref. Okay, I'll also import this again from Angular core like so. I'll get rid of this import. Okay, now we have these two imports, and these can be used in the set property that we have above. Okay, so what these two are this is the actual template or the actual content that is going to be rendered onto the view, and this is the reference of this view container. Okay, so this is what is going to be shown, and this is where it is going to be shown. Okay, so now if condition is true, then in that case, if we don't want to show anything on the view container, there is a method named clear that can be called to just clear the container. Okay, and if there is something to be shown, then there is a method named create embedded view to which we have to pass an instance of the template ref. Okay, so essentially what I'm doing is if this condition is going to be true, then the view container is going to be clear, so it won't be showing anything. But if this is false, then the view container will create an embedded view, and it will project this template inside that embedded view. Okay, so if I save this here and go back, I'm not using the directive right now, so I'll have to do that. So let's just get rid of this template here, and let's also get rid of this star ng if, and instead we will be using star app unless, and to this I'm going to pass true. Okay, now in this case, this should not be shown, right? Because we have opposite conditions in there. So I don't really see any division here, right? But if I change this to false and save and go back, again, not seeing anything, so there might be some issue. Let's open up that file. So the name is unless directive.ts. I'll place a breakpoint in here and let's reload. Okay, so the condition is false as of now. Okay, I got what the issue is. This shouldn't be placed inside a string. This should be a Boolean value. Okay, so let's reload this and see what. Okay, so now it's taken as a Boolean. So now it should work. Okay, I'll just get rid of this breakpoint here. So right now the value that I have used in the app unless is false. So I'm able to see this div. But if I set it to true, then in that case, it wouldn't be shown on to the DOM. Okay, and this is how you can basically use a structural directive. You can create your own custom structural directive in Angular. So again, what we did is we injected two things as a reference. This is going to be the reference of whatever is going to be projected into the ng template tag, and this is the container where that ng tag is going to be sitting. Okay, now in the condition, we have just reversed the condition. So if this is true, then we are just clearing of the view container. So it won't be showing anything to us. While if we want to show something, then and that is going to be when the condition is false, then we are calling a create embedded view on the view container ref, and that is going to create an embedded view. And in that embedded view, this template ref or the template that is referenced by this dependency that we have is going to be projected. Okay, so that was our very own custom structural directive in Angular. Now that was all regarding the directives. From the next video, we'll talk about pipes and Angular. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.